What is up with it to the fans of Fire Emblem? This is Don051 and Mekkah.
Hi.
And we're the hosts for Chapter 6 of my Fire Emblem 11 Hard 5 0% Girls playthrough.
This chapter requires very elaborate preparation because unlike some previous chapters, you can't really just have everyone be outfitted with whatever weapons they happen to have, or even no weapons. No, we need really specific weapon sets on people for a very specific purpose. There's some people that just have to fight very weak enemies like curates and thieves and other people that just don't really do a lot of damage. And then there's some people who have to take on the brunt of our offense. They have to face enemy phases and deal as much damage as possible. Then there's some people who just have to sit somewhere and wall and choke a point for the entire chapter. So as we prepare for that, you'll notice we're trading a lot of items around just to get our damage management in order. And of course, we're going to be doing some reclassing soon. Wolf and Sedgar, they are some very depressed teenagers with no idea what they're going to do in their lives. So they're going to try out all sorts of stuff. And since Draug gave up on being an armor knight, they figured we're going to replace him and get like 15 base defense, which is amazing. Although not too amazing, because they're not invincible and they get doubled, but they're still kind of okay.
We also reclassed Jagen to paladin because him, in his infinite wisdom, being the veteran that he is, identified correctly that there are enemy mages and enemy archers in their ranks, and because he sort of needs to lead the way, he has to figure out how to avoid taking excessive damage, so he has to switch back to being a paladin. I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this chapter. It's kind of a difficult chapter, but also very fun to plan out. And the reason why I sort of hate it is because there are some RNG-related things that have to happen, and they're not related to hit rates. For example, at the beginning of the chapter, I had to check 4 enemies for their stats, and their stats have to be within certain limits so that the strategy can actually work, because HP and defense can round up or down due to enemy growth rates. The other thing that's sort of suspect to the RNG is because of the chapter layout here with the tight corridors, the enemies can sometimes move to one of 2 different positions. Like that armor knight that attacked Hardin can either move to the tile above him or to his left. In this case, it doesn't matter because Navarre moved forward enough that he could account for the case where the armor knight is to Hardin's left. But later on in the chapter, there are a couple of instances in which the enemy basically has a 50-50 chance to move to the right place or to the wrong place. And they have to move to the right place, otherwise you have to reset.
Yeah, we need to hurry up in this chapter because there's a bunch of thieves trying to raid the chests inside this castle. Just like when they take villages in the outside chapters, thieves just try to take your treasure before you can. But in this case, if a thief opens a chest and you kill the thief afterwards, the thief just drops the item that the chest contains, and so it actually saves us the work of getting that chest with a thief of our own to begin with. So it's actually kind of convenient. But the chapter is kind of designed in a way that the thieves will take some chests, and in fact, there's a chest up north that has a killing edge that's pretty much impossible to get in this difficulty without using a warp staff, but since the warp staff uses are so precious, we're just going to let the killing edge go.
So Lena uses a save point here because this enemy phase is basically the one instance in which the enemy movement scenario that I described earlier will play out. There are an enemy mage and an enemy archer that are near where Wolf is at the bottom of the map. And so the archer is going to move to attack Wolf, and the mage has to move to the tile above the archer. He cannot move to the tile to the left. This enemy archer that attacks Jagen has to either move to the tile that's 1 up and 1 left of Jagen, or 2 up and not 2 to the left, because otherwise that thief ends up kind of getting stuck and blocking this corridor that Jagen and Hardin have to be moving through right now.
Jagen and Hardin, along with Caeda and Wendell, are our most important units offensively, so they're busy clearing the way for Marth. They also have a lot of movement, or in the case of Wendell, he started very far ahead of everyone else in the preparations, like the repositioning stuff. So that's, since Marth has so much movement and needs to get to the throne as fast as possible, these are the only units that can really keep up for the entirety of the chapter. We also saw that Sedgar is blocking a very important choke point. If he doesn't do that, then a bunch of enemies walk out of that choke point and they get in our way even more. And we have to kill all of them, and we don't have the offense for that. So instead, Sedgar just sits there and takes a bunch of hits for free. And our other general, Wolf, is also with a very weird past. Almost, he is sitting at the edge of a bunch of enemies and killing them through a wall.
Yeah, he has to manipulate the AI because the enemy curate that's nearby is going to be induced to heal his friends if they are at or below 50% of their max HP. And so Wolf is doing a very interesting thing where he has both an iron bow and a javelin. The iron bow is weaker than the javelin, but he can 4-hit KO with some combination of those. So with his first 2 hits, he wants to do less than half their total HP, so that the curate doesn't suspect that he needs to heal his friends later on. And then with the next 2 hits, he does more than 50% of their HP to kill them.
Also, just now we recruited another thief in addition to Julian. His name is Rickard, and he's just like Julian except a lot worse. In this chapter he gets 2 chests for us, but for the rest of the game we don't do all that much. You have to wonder why he wasn't in prison to begin with, because they let him keep his iron sword, probably because his strength took so much that they didn't think he would hurt anyone with it. And thieves can just open doors at will in this chapter, so there was really no way that Rickard would stay in that cell, or would if he wanted to escape.
According to the canon, Rickard used to be Julian's subordinate, and you have to wonder, after Julian opened the door, why Rickard didn't just like, you know, say, "Hey, it's my old chief, what a fortuitous encounter." I think Rickard was lying when he said that he was in prison. He probably just wanted to chillax in like that little cell because it was comfortable in there, or something stupid like that.
Indeed. So now we kill one of these enemies that would threaten Marth otherwise, and most of our offensive units end their turn outside of the range of the armor knights and the archer inside the throne room. This is because they are so strong that we can't really take them on an enemy phase, and we have to wait a turn, and then we just swoop in with our strongest attacks like Excalibur, which from round KOs Knight, which is very impressive. And Caeda can one-hit KO another armor knight with her Wing Spear.
This chapter is the real reason why we forged +6 might onto the Wing Spear, because in chapter 4, forging +6 might has the boon of being able to one-hit KO the boss, and that's cool and all, but we could have planned around that. Here though, we absolutely needed the +6 might Wing Spear forge to one-hit KO all of the armor knights, because the number of units that we have to sort of like forge our way through the chapter are limited, and I think Caeda, if not getting directly one-hit KO'd by the armor knights, she gets left with 1 HP. So she absolutely cannot take any counters at all anymore at this point in the game.
Yeah, but she does need to be used, because if she doesn't kill anything in time, then Marth just gets destroyed. And Wolf also needed to kill these enemies because they would gang up on one of our units and kill them. But thankfully we have barely enough damage on our hands to kill off these 3 enemies in the throne room. And also up north you can see that Navarre and Abel are in position to get a couple more kills in this chapter. One of the cavaliers runs up to them, and what we're actually going to be doing is very surprising. We need to kill that cavalier to clear the way, or Abel to kill another cavalier, because he has a droppable item that we really want. So we actually have Barst attack this guy with a devil axe, risking himself to just kill himself, so that Roche can come in and kill that cavalier, so that Abel has enough movement to kill the cavalier that's dropping a master key near Sedgar, because we want the gold for that master key, and that's worth risking Barst's life over.
That's a whole lot of work that we're putting in for just 1200 gold, but it's definitely worth it, in my opinion. For the boss strategy here, Wendell can double him with pretty much anything, and we need a bit of chip damage so that Caeda can remove the rest of his HP. We don't use Excalibur, even though Excalibur is more accurate, because it also has that 20 critical, and that risks Wendell one-hit KOing the enemy boss and stealing the boss kill experience from Caeda, which she needs to hit level 10 by a certain point in the game. We're going to have Rickard pick up the last item that we need from the chest, the Physics Staff, and then Marth seizes on turn 6. He receives the Fire Emblem, the titular item of the series, from Princess Nina. It allows him to open any chest, but in this playthrough it's totally useless because most chests are too far out of the way. And that's it for Chapter 6. We will see you next time.
See ya.